Did I make a video about gravitational field mirages? I don't recall. I don't know. I made so many videos now. And at this point, I think so circularly that I'm just gonna keep talking. And it helps to reimagine these ideas and diversify your own thoughts on your own theories. So there's an older theory called gravitational mirages. Mine is nothing like that. I don't even remember what it was. I don't care. So, properly looking at a gravitational mirage. So we have something now which correlates to what I was talking about before, where I was sitting in this new apartment. This place was built in the 40s, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure in the 40s. Or 50s. Anyway, doesn't matter. That I was sitting here and I was playing guitar, empty room, just enjoying my guitar, and a box turned on its own. It rotated, I don't know, 45 or 90 degrees anymore, I don't know. Anyway, it got me thinking, because I don't believe in ghosts, and if I do believe in ghosts, I'm going to find a way to explain ghosts. So I was analyzing just the molecular structure and the quantum mechanics of how an old room could potentially produce movement and objects that I don't have contact with, like a Wi-Fi sort of thing, right? And I concluded that throughout time, frequencies can have a sort of probabilistic fielding where if you have the right input at the right time, you can create an exact sort of force that existed in the past, right? So time memory is what it's been called. I read a paper about it, and that's an older theory, but you know, it's fun when stuff that you come over the lines with older stuff, and that's just how physics is. I mean, if you love physics, you're gonna have a lot of ideas that people already had. And so, reading Sabrina Pistarsky's paper was a lot of fun to just see how these equations can equate to a modern mathematical relation. I don't like modern math. I think it's inferior. But enough of that. Anyway, gravitational mirages. I love. This is one of my favorite theories that I've stumbled upon at this point. Who knows? That particles in gravitational fields exist. Let's just, if you imagine it in a two-dimensional plane, like Einstein projected, that, which is always three-dimensional anyway, but whatever. Anyway, so particles, and I tried to explain it like a surfer. Okay, so imagine a surfer riding a wave, and that's your linear state of reality. You have a point A to point B, and what you do is that's your reality. Except for gravitational mirages function potentially in what I might consider a fifth dimension. I think that's what I would call the fifth dimension. I don't know what other people are calling it, and especially since I've started dissecting dimensions into halves to interpret them as wholes. It doesn't make any sense. I can't explain that right now. I just want to talk about gravitational mirages. So reality is constant, and if you look at my gravitational field model, to understand the equivalence of two states of mass, and we call it energy, that radiative bodies can influence and vibrate in a way. It's sort of vibrating, but it's not actually vibrating. It's contemporary to say vibrations in string theory. So in my gravitational field model, I started noticing all of these other analytical aspects of other physics theories that I never supported popping up. String theory, for instance. And so, trying to keep a train of thought. Anyway, that this is embarrassing. Energy waves, right? Radiation emitted from a gravitational body can, and I was saying that they resonate. Well, they don't actually resonate, and so the best way to like keep it simple is imagining a surfer. And so imagine a heavier surfer, and now you're in space, but the wave that you're riding can pass right through you, and that's your frequency bias, right? And so your vector on your board versus the wave can go up and down on the crest, and it can ride it, it can accelerate with it, you can become lighter and heavier, and these are overlapping states of reality. One of the multiverse theories, I believe, or at least the ones that I consider to be multiverse theories. I have another one that is totally different, and that involves entanglement theory and stuff, and how universes can form and how we can have infinite sets of these universes. Nobody ever explains it. They just love playing with the imagination because it keeps physics alive. Anyway, but some people can't get that far. They just want the answers. And it's nice to give people answers when they want them, right? And this is how you could think, or this is how you could think, this is how other people thought, and how we all think. And then we have correlated factors, and everybody has these variables that they are individually many roads to the same conclusions. And that's how you can kind of like bond philosophy or something. But so I'm very sensitive to it. Gravitational field mirages. I'm not afraid to admit it anymore because I don't care. In that I've noticed so many changes, and I think there's different ways to insulate against gravitational mirages in having a high copper or aluminum diet. Why people wear aluminum hats. I did make a video about this. I don't know if I uploaded it, but I said I don't wear a copper or aluminum foil hat. I have aluminum woven into this hat as a joke. Anyway, so based on how your neurons sort of function at a conscious level, where does consciousness derive? In my theories of quantum wave cancellations in the neural receptors, I didn't know about microtubules or whatever, I don't delve into other people's theories. I just want to fucking think. And I've done it so many years now that I just learned how to think for and against everything and be right no matter what. And that means that even when you're wrong, you're still right? Aren't you? If you know what I'm talking about. And so we have these different frequency rates that stimulate the mind to perceive realities, since we never technically live in the present. And I don't know if I'm the first one to say that. I did read about it and made it a recollective process. But we never actually experience the present because it takes time to cognitively process from all of our stimulus bias. But anyway, and so with gravitational mirages, it suggests that there's a lot of like quantum states of particles that sit within a probabilistic structure that can resonate on separate frequencies to create overlapping realities. That, and this is why it's one of my favorite theories. That I wish I could just like hook you up to my brain and be like fucking math. Crazy crap. You gotta do math. I don't care about the math. I'm not interested in the math. I'm an artist. I like seeing. So, but I do like math. I just hate our system of math because it's so fucking fun. Sometimes doing that can help me erase a few things in my track. I don't know why. That, like the surfer, like I'm trying to say, these particles that function on frequencies of gravitational fields, that our brains too function on frequencies, and we can then experience a trough or a crest. You might be experiencing things that, and it explains kind of why we can shut off our minds and fight more efficiently, and that you just go to pure stimulus, that you're not actually processing in your brain what is happening, you are just pre-processing. So your brain can train around that, and that all frequencies of any movement or energy in a gravitational field can correlate to the frequencies of your neurons. And so this penetrates everything. We are fucking helpless, and it's kind of unnerving and scary if you understand what the hell I'm talking about. Because while conservation of energy is very effective and efficient, it's not going to just completely destroy reality. But your reality can change without your control. You can be in separate fucking realities. And the most recent experiences I've had are changing parking lots. I know it sounds weird. There are these parking lots, these parking spaces that change in number. And so I'll drive and I've noticed so many other things, but I've been using this to gauge what reality I'm in, like what I'm currently in, because I've changed so much. And one time I had a straight nose. I know it sounds weird. Makes you sound insane. I woke up and I was just laying in bed or something, and I had a straight nose. I have a really big beaky nose. I was mad too about it. I wanted my big nose back. It was I don't give a fuck how my nose looks. And yeah, I had a different nose, and stuff like that will change. And so there will be 1, 2, or 3 of these parking spaces that I will notice, and I will know basically which sort of what I think are mirages. I mean, that I'm currently experiencing this frequency bias that is formulating different parking spaces. And so people see, then it gets really funny about vector time and probabilistic theory of quantum states, and how like these realities, like how could you just try to disappear from one reality? It's hard to say. I mean, the math is so fucking complicated, and just explaining it is really complicated. But so I think the surface is the perfect way to try and relate it to a normal person, to think that this wave can just simply pass through you, but at a frequency bias, there's going to be another wave right behind you, and everybody's just still going to see you surfing, is what it is. And so we have all of these complex quantum states as subatomic particles that can formulate realities that are just overlapping with one another and how they can simulate. And it's really cool. I mean, it just blows a freaking mind hole. But I don't think about it too much because you have to accept the changes. That's why a lot of people are numb to it. I think if you have a healthy diet, potentially because I stay in one place so long, that maybe even my own emittance of energy, because it really emits energy, that also light too. So it goes into light as well, like the lights that we have in our home. That photons are not as innocent as you think they are. They're like tiny little subatomic bullets that impact reality too. But you don't want to tell people that either because that could freak them out. You just gotta accept it, you know what I mean? And that's what happened. People just accepted to brush things off. There have been so many strange things that have happened to me in my life. And the only way to explain it is if you rationalize gravitational field mirages. And I wrote my gravitational field model, which then, of course, explains gravitational mirages. Ooh, crap in my brain. I'm not a perfect mathematician. Anyway, that's enough about that tonight.